Kingdom Hall.
Oh, hi. I just had a question I was wondering if someone could help me with.
Sure.
Well, I saw the most interesting quote from the Watchtower. Now, it's kind of old, but I was just wondering if this is still the view that they have, or is it... I didn't know if it was something everybody gets into or what, but it was in the Watchtower, and it's talking about like people that don't appreciate the truth versus the way your attitude should be. So it tells a little story. It's just a few sentences long. It says this couple that a guy stayed with, he was staying with this couple, and the brother went down to get the mail before breakfast. And when we had breakfast, he said, "Brother, I got a new watchtower this morning, and do you know the first thing that Mom and I do when we get that tower? We kneel down before we take the wrapper off and ask Jehovah to make us worthy to see what the message is that Jehovah has for us."
Okay.
So,
So you just want to know about the appreciation for the truth in general?
No. Is it a message from Jehovah? They call it a message that Jehovah has for us. That seems like an inspiration claim.
Okay. I'm not too sure. I mean, like you said, it's probably from a while. You said, do you remember which watchtower was from? Do you have it in your
Watchtower,
hand?
September 15th, 1964, page 574.
Wow, you have a 64 watchtower on you.
Is that like a ritual that people do? Like it says they kneel down and thank Jehovah for this message from him. I mean, is that like a ritual or just something they're praised for doing it in this article?
I could tell you that they were probably just like thankful, and they were just moved to do that, as the example goes.
Yeah, the article is praising them for doing that. They call it a message from Jehovah, the Watchtower magazine. And they deny inspiration, claims to being inspiration. And if you want to examine their changes and, previous false teachings that they acknowledge were false now, they say we don't claim to be inspired. But here it's praising them, and they call it a message from Jehovah. So that's exactly
what was the message from Jehovah?
The Watchtower magazine.
Right. So what? Yeah, but what was it though?
The Watchtower magazine. I don't know. I didn't read the rest of it.
So you're saying in general? Okay. All right,
yeah, they're talking about from the organization's words is a message from Jehovah, and they continually deny, being inspired. But that is the definition of inspired: is giving a message from God, right?
Well, are you familiar with Matthew 24, 45 to 47? About who is the faithful and discreet slave. So basically what that brings out is that the message or spiritual food that we receive comes through that faithful and discreet slave. And so
Jesus was talking about the Watchtower magazine? You really think that's what that was about?
That's not what I said, ma'am.
Well, of course you're making some application. I mean, you're saying they are the slave. I mean, it's just a parable about being faithful, what God has given you, being watchful and being faithful as stewards of the gospel. And, it's in and cased in with other parables like the foolish and wise virgins, the 10 talents. Do you guys have who they are too? Do you know who they are? I mean, why is it somebody, let alone some group? Do you know who the 5 wise virgins are? Are they somebody today too? I mean, it's just a parable. He's giving an illustration. He's not saying they're. I mean, it speaks of the evil slave. Who's the evil slave? If you're saying it has a modern day identity.
I understand why you may feel that way.
Well, everybody does. It's an unprecedented interpretation. I mean, other groups have tried to interpret themselves into the Bible too, like David Koresh, and other groups have said they're the 144,000 also. They're trying to get some unique authority claim out of that, but certainly no one has ever had that interpretation until, the late 1800s. But, I just wanted to know, why do they praise this couple that calls it a message from Jehovah when they got new light on a lot of that stuff that was taught in 1964, it obviously wasn't a message from Jehovah, because then it would all be true, right?
Yeah. I mean, hey, well, all I can tell you is that as we're not afraid that if we have made mistakes in things that we have said, every year, it would seem to me that, we have annual meetings, and with that there is spiritual enlightenments, we would call it, so that might mean that we may understand a scriptural teaching. And it may not be something that is even a central part of our teaching, but it may be just slight readjustments. Like the last one that we may have, that we have changed is just like a wording. So like instead of saying like vindicating of Jehovah's name, for a long time we wouldn't have said that, because vindicating is just making known Jehovah's name. But really, there's things that need to be known about Jehovah. So with that,
vindicating does not mean the same thing as that. So that's
all right. Well, I'm
interesting.
just trying to briefly tell you, man. I'm not going to.
What about the old light that actually hurt people, like saying that blood fractions are objectionable to Jehovah?
Okay. Well, all right, ma'am. I don't have time right now.
Okay.
To go through all this,
Well, hey, I hope you check it out. And a great website is called jwlies.com. And God bless you.